Hey, lovely, lovely people. A pleasant evening to everybody. I hope everybody is doing goody. All right, lovely people. I was watching the news and I saw something. It says, and I'm reading it verbatim now, looking at the online Jamaica Observer, and it says House approves first supplementary estimates for 2025-2026 fiscal year. It says here now, Kingston, Jamaica, the House of Representatives on Tuesday approved the first supplementary estimates for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. So it says here now, the 2025-2026 estimates of expenditure has now moved from $1,260,048,978 to $1,270,538,106. In her remarks, Minister of Finance and the Public Service Favour Williams said the estimates will facilitate the allocation of $58.1 billion to ministries, departments, and agencies. She informed that of this sum, $55.6 billion is earmarked to cover additional salaries and allowances arising from agreements between the government and public sector unions and staff associations during fiscal year 2024-2025. I was hoping, to be very honest, that, when I heard Tisha Clark Griffiths, on the news recently, as well as reading it, that she, it would have been speaking about, the period 2022 to 2025, outstanding retroactive monies to be paid out to the Civil Service Association and the workers. I was hoping to hear that part of it, but as it says, she informed that of this sum, the $55.6 billion is earmarked to cover additional salaries and allowances arising from agreements between the government and public sector unions and staff associations during fiscal year 2024 to 2025. This supplementary also takes into consideration the $1.1 billion for the 3% subsidy on residential electricity usage as expenditure in the central government expenditure budget, and $1.4 billion for the acquisition of 110 buses for the rural school bus service, the minister stated. Additionally, she said it facilitates the transfer of $35.3 billion from the contingencies allocation to assist in financing the additional expenditure of the MDs, which is ministry, departments, and agencies, and the reprioritization, let me call it right, of expenditure totaling $12.3 billion within the 2025-2026 approved budget to assist in financing the additional spending of the ministries, department, and the agencies, MDAs. Williams stated that approximately $48.1 billion of the committed funds fall under the compensation of employees category, including $23.6 billion allocated for advancement along substantive salary bands for eligible central government employees, effective April 1, 2025, in accordance with the agreement reached with the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU. There's also $16.3 billion for extra hours worked, and that's arrears and new rates payable for employees who perform approved hours of work beyond their scheduled weekly work time with effect from August 1, 2024. Of this $16.3 billion being requested, approximately $5.8 billion relates to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, including the Bellevue Hospital. But you hear a lot of things through the grapevine. I thought they were kind of renovating, or dismantling it and creating something. I don't know. I've been hearing something over the years regarding the mental institution. $2.5 billion represents new rate only for the Jamaica Fire Brigade under the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development, and $5.3 billion for the police department based on current levels of spending, she said. There's also 5.6 billion of salaries. Sorry, there's also 5.6 billion of salary arrears. 3.6 billion of that due to medical consultants, 195 million to paramedics and psychiatric nurse aides, and 1.7 billion to correctional officers. There's also 2.3 billion for uniform allowance, and that includes arrears and new rate payable under the new uniform policy and applicable with effect from April 1, 2024 to all public sector workers, or all public sector, all public sector, I never say some or most, to all public sector employees who are required to be uniformed as determined by the ministries, departments, agencies, and public bodies, the minister added. Williams also stated that 2.3 billion has been allocated to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Additionally, 10 billion has been allocated, with 4.7 billion directed to the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, including 2.8 billion earmarked for arrears and revised compensation rates for medical consultants. For the University of Technology, Jamaica, UTech, 1.4 billion has been allocated as a second tranche payment under the parity agreement, which introduced new salary agreements aimed at aligning compensation with sector benchmarks and staff contributions. The sum has already been advanced to UTech through the budget of the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, and is to be assigned as expenditure in the supplementary estimates, Williams said. So those are some of the major numbers in the supplementary estimates. There will be a redirection of funds in order to continue to have the balanced budget for this supplementary, she added. All right. My question, I suppose, is that particular concern that the Jamaica Civil Service Union President Tisha Clark Griffiths, where monies are to be paid out to the civil servants, which is a part of the public sector workers, retroactive monies from beginning as far back as 2022 to 2025. When Mrs. Clark Griffiths was talking about the ministry being disingenuous and, going on and so on. Because these monies, should really have been paid out sometime now. The reality is this. I hear all of this and how the money is going to be allocated. Miss Faval, let me tell you, people just want some money in their pockets right now. They want additional monies to do what they need to do, pay bills, pay debts, do things, and live. The monies just need to be paid out. I think we just have to not really foot around the whole situation, because people are really, they're stressed, they're strained, they're tired, they're weary, they're even weary, and they just want not to be educated, they want to be heard, and their version of hearing is that I want my needs to be met in totality, and maybe one and two little ones, because it's like eating your meals. It is imperative that we eat healthy every day, but every now and then you might need a little ice cream and a little cake. We need a little bit balance of the system. Similarly, we need that kind of a balance in our pockets, in our salaries. So whatever retro money, whatever additional allowances, whatever money pay it over. Guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe, give me one of those lions.